Hello. Good afternoon. I'm happy to be with you here on site, online. There's a little sunlight on my face, so you might get some glare if I squint a little. It won't be a face at your singing or your enthusiasm. It might just be the sun as it continues to set. Thank you for being with us. We'll start with Hine Mato. Feel free to sing where you are, or if you're not as comfortable, to just enjoy the day, sit back, let your thoughts wander, sing at home where you are, sing along with us, or just enjoy. Hine Mato. So good to hear you singing and hear voices in real time. So we're gonna do that again because it's good for me. How good it is, how good it is, how sweet it is to be together on this day. How good it is, how sweet it is to be together on this day. For those of us here on site, but Shalom Aleichem, Salam Aleikum. So we welcome people from all backgrounds, all faiths, those two languages represented, but really means we are open to everything. Shalom Aleichem, Salam Aleikum. Shalom Aleichem, Salam Aleikum. Shalom Aleichem, Salam Aleikum. To get up and wander and walk, that's great. If you want to get up and dance and move around, that's great too, of any of all ages. There's plenty of room and space, and part of the joy of being together is that we get to feel joyful and not as confined as maybe we are at home, but with some space to walk around. What's your name?
This is Gabriel.
Gabriel?
Yeah.
Hello. You want to take a nap? Oh, I'm pooped. We just started. And we need to keep doing some singing together. So the next melody is written by Peter Rowan, who's an old...
Already.
Huh?
I only had one job and he moved it up already.
You're fired, Rabbi. You can't find good tech help anymore. You know? All these rabbis, you would think they would have been trained in rabbinic school and cantorial school to be technological experts. I mean, well done, Rabbi, well done. Peter Rowan, a folk singer, who sings this song about even when we're far apart, we always reach out to the other. So here, whether we're on site or online together, we call to each other. Oh, we're singing the alphabet song. No. We'll sing it if you want. We'll sing it in a minute. I'm gonna have you help me lead that in a minute. We call to people online, we call to people who are streaming, to our friends and families all over. This idea that sometimes we feel isolated where we are, and sometimes we are on our own little mountains, but we call to each other. So it goes like this. We all live on our own mountain so high. Try that with me. We all live on our own mountain so high. Sing that again. We all live on our own mountain so high. Next part sounds like this. From my mountain to your mountain to my mountain so high. From my mountain to your mountain to my mountain so high. One more time. From my mountain to your mountain to my mountain so high. Last part. I'm calling you. 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 We all live on our own mountain so high. Sing that again. We all live on our own mountain so high. From my mountain to your mountain to my mountain so high. From my mountain to your mountain to my mountain so high. I'm calling you. I'm calling you. I'm calling you. All right, we're gonna have a little Aleph Bet. Yeah, you're gonna come sing it with me? Or you want to sing it from there? Are you want to do the saying of the letters, or do you want to do the repeating after me? We can do both too. Both is good. Aleph Bet Bet. I can't see you. Here we go. 'Cause I want to be able to see you and hear you again. Aleph Bet Bet. Gimel Dalet Hey. Bye-bye. Tet. He's leaving. Yud Kaf Chaf. Lamed Mem Nun. Samech Ayin Pei Pei. Tzadik Kuf Resh. Shin. Sin. Ta. There it is. I forgot the last letter and you helped. Thank you for that. Once there was a water carrier. What did you say? Oh, once upon a time? Once there was a water carrier. Do you know what a water carrier does? Carries water for everybody. And this water carrier for the village, his father had been the water carrier before him and his father before him. Every day the water carrier would get up and he'd put a pole across his shoulders and he'd hang an empty bucket on either side. And he'd go down to the river to collect water. And this particular day, he put the pole across his neck, took 2 empty buckets down to the river. One empty bucket filled it with water, put it on one end, took the other empty bucket, filled it with water, put it on the other end, and walked back to the village. That is what the water carrier did. The next day, the water carrier got up, put a pole across his neck, hung 2 empty buckets from either end, walked down to the river, filled one bucket with water, hung it on the end, the other bucket with water, hung it on the end, and slowly began to walk back to town. But one of the buckets noticed that he had a crack in himself. And he noticed that he was dripping water outside of his bucket. And the bucket looks to the other end, to the other bucket, and she is perfectly full of water, no cracks and perfect. And this bucket with the crack is beginning to be worried. There's water leaking. Continue on their way. They go home. The water is delivered. The next day, the water carrier gets up, put a pole across his shoulders, take 2 empty buckets, goes down to the river, takes 1 bucket, fills it with water, puts it on the end. The other bucket fills it with water, puts it on the end, and begins to walk back to town. And again, the 1 bucket with the crack notices that he's losing water, and that the bucket on the other end, she is perfectly full. And he calls to her and says, "Are you losing any water?" "No, I am perfect. I'm holding on to all of my water." So the crack bucket says, water carrier, something's wrong. I have a crack and I'm dripping water, which means that I'm not able to bring water to the village. You're supposed to be bringing all of this water and you're losing water. The water carrier doesn't say anything. The next day gets up, put his pole across his shoulders, takes the 2 empty buckets down to the river, fills 1 with water, puts it on the end, the other one with water, puts it on the end, and begins to walk back towards town. Again, the cracked bucket is losing water. The cracked bucket says, water carrier, this is terrible. I'm broken. You've been doing this, your father and his father before him, bringing water to the village, and I'm leaking water. I'm broken. The water carrier says, cracked bucket, take a look over on the other side of yourself. And the cracked bucket peers over the edge, and he sees the path that they're on a little bit, but right nearby notices a big row of flowers on the side of the road. And he calls over to the perfect bucket at the end and says, "Hey, perfect bucket." She says, "Yes." He says, what do you see when you look overside your bucket?" And she peers over the edge. She says, "Nothing, it's just dirt over here." So the cracked bucket looks again at the flowers and says, "Water carrier, I don't understand." The water carrier says, "I always knew you had a crack. So at night, when I discovered this crack so many weeks ago, I came out late at night and I planted seeds all along the path that we would walk every day. And every Friday afternoon when it's time for Shabbat, I come out and I cut down all of these flowers and I deliver them to the village for people for their Shabbat table. What you thought was something broken that meant that you were letting us down and that wasn't good enough actually was what brought beauty to the world. Our cracks are sometimes what makes us wonderful and allows us to provide gifts to the world. The perfection that we seek or strive for, or our children and our grandchildren feel the need there, it's not bad, but it often doesn't give us the richness of opportunity that the cracks that we have might have to bring up and to seed for new life. Next thing I'd love to sing with you is a beautiful melody, one of Debbie Friedman's last pieces. In the last few years before she died, I know many of us might know of Debbie's music, rich with text and tradition from our biblical stories as well as our liturgy. She was a dear friend of mine. We worked together for many years. And I love this particular melody, "You Turn My Mourning Into Dancing," because Debbie taught, just like those cracks in the bucket, that for all of the pain and sadness we feel, which we do, either individually as families in our world, life feels very hard and there's pain and loss. And we never minimize. But for all the space we have to feel that pain and sadness, we have that exact amount of space for joy. If we can fill with that, and we have all felt it, then we know we have that much space for joy. And we sometimes forget to live into those big moments of joy and gratitude. So we turn our mourning into dancing. You turn my mourning into dancing, so that my soul might sing to you, so that my soul sing to you, and do not be still. We're going to sing this again. You turn my mourning into dancing, so that my soul might sing to you, so that my soul sing to you, and do not be still. And this next part is the chorus, goes like this. Oh God, my God, forever I will thank you. Oh God, my God, forever I will thank you. Odeka. The Hebrew in Odeka from this psalm is like Todah, which is of gratitude. So we just express this gratitude. Let's see. Now I sing praises to the Holy One, who lifts me up when I have fallen. And I cry to you to heal me, and you have answered all my prayers. Oh God, my God, forever I will thank you. Oh God, my God, forever I will thank you. Oh Decca, I ask that you be gracious and hear me, Adonai. I have called to you to help me, and you supported me with joy. Let's sing this again. I ask that you be gracious and hear me, Adonai. I have called to you to help me, and you supported me with joy. Oh God, my God, forever I will thank you. Oh God, my God, forever I will thank you. Oh Decca, you turn my morning into dancing. You turn my morning into dancing. Morning into dancing, Debbie Friedman. So for this next one, there's going to be a quiz first before we see the lyric. One of the beautiful things, one of Debbie's teachers and all of our teachers, the sort of song leader, Pete Seeger, not only did amazing work singing with people, the singing that he did online with children, the Carnegie concerts for children, so much great communal singing. He was really one of the first to believe in the power of the communal voice. The other beautiful thing that Pete Seeger did was open a generation to the diversity of music. He would bring melodies from all over the world in new languages with new rhythms and bring them to a generation of children in the 60s, 50s, 60s, and 70s. So one of my favorite things that he sings is called Letter to Eve. And so a little quiz to see how expansive we are about different languages in the search for one word, which is the word for peace. So obviously Hebrew we know is good. It turns out actually that Pete Seeger didn't use shalom in his song. We're going to sing it. Doug Mishkin, a Jewish singer-songwriter, added shalom, called Pete and said, how did you not use shalom? But he hadn't. Okay, so we know shalom. What about who knows Latin? How you would say peace in Latin? Pax, good. In this case, we're going to sing Pacem in Terris, peace in the land, but good. Pax, good. What about Russian? Anyone know the word for peace in Russian? Mir. Yes, beautifully done. Mir, well done. And in Hindi? Shanti. Yeah, Shanti, Shanti. And in Arabic? Salam, good. And what about Japanese? Really stretching I wouldn't have known. Heiwa. So when we come to it, this is what we're going to sing. Shalom, Pacem in Terris, Mir Shanti Salam, Heiwa. Try that with me. Shalom, Pacem in Terris, Mir Shanti Salam, Heiwa. We're going to raise it a little again. Shalom, Pacem in Terris, Mir Shanti Salam, Heiwa. Oh Eve, where is Adam? Now you're kicked out of the garden. Eve, where is Adam? Now you're kicked out of the garden. Been wandering from shore to shore. disaster. If love, only love, could save this world from disaster, don't you wish love could end the confusion? Or is it just one more illusion? Shalom, Hachem in Teres, Mir Shante Salam Hewa. Well, if you wanna have great love, you've got to have great anger. If you wanna have great love, you've got to have great anger. When I see innocent folks shot down, it just makes me shake my head and frown. Shalom, Hachem in Teres, Mir Shante Salam Hewa. But if you wanna hit that target square, you'd better not have blind anger. If you wanna hit the target square, you better not have blind anger, or else it'll just be one more time. The correction creates another crime. Shalom, Hachem in Teres, Mir Shante Salam Hewa. Well, if music could only bring peace, I'd only be a musician. If music could only bring peace, I'd only be a musician. If songs could do more than dull this pain, if melodies could break these chains, Shalom, Hachem in Teres, Mir Shante Salam Hewa. Oh Eve, go tell Adam we've got to build a new garden. Eve, go tell Adam it's time to build a new garden. We've got to get a working on a building, a decent home for all God's children. Shalom, Hachem in Teres, Mir Shante Salam Hewa. Oh Eve, you tell Adam next time he asks you. Eve, you tell Adam next time he asks you, he'll say, baby, it's cold outside. What's the password to come inside? And you'll say, Shalom, Hachem in Teres, Mir Shante Salam Hewa. Oh, Hachem in Teres, Mir Shante Salam Hewa. 4,000 languages in this world means the same thing to every boy and girl. Shalom, Hachem in Teres, Mir Shante Salam Hewa. Pete Seeger with a great song. Turning of the World, also about what's possible for all of us. I think Turning of the World is next, I'm not sure. It'd be good. Let us sing this song for the turning of the world, that we may turn as one. With every voice and every song, we will move this world along, and our lives will be the echo of our turning. With every voice, with every song, we will move this world along. With every voice and every song, we will move this world along, and our lives will feel the echo of our turning. We'll sing the same thing again, but this time we'll change turning to the world healing. We're going to sing all of our songs, bring all of our best selves to the healing of the world. Let us sing. sing this song for the praying of our world, that we may pray as one. With every voice and every song, we will move this world along, and our lives will feel the echo of our praying. Let there be light. With every voice, with every song, we will move this world along. With every voice and every song, we will move this world along, and our lives will feel the echo of our praying, and our lives will feel the echo of our healing, and our lives will feel the echo of our turning. A rabbi was in Boston, and he came across the great crew race, which I'm sure many of you know, the head of the Charles Regatta. For any of you who follow crew, I went to Penn, and my daughter in DC rode crew for many years with her high school. Rabbi came across the Great Regatta in Boston and was delighted to find that Yeshiva University had a team entered in the head of the Charles Regatta, which is one of the biggest, crew races there is. And he watched with interest and watched Yeshiva University come in last. Goes back the next day, it's a 3-day regatta, watches again Yeshiva University and comes in last. Third day goes back again, Yeshiva University comes in last. The rabbi's discouraged and goes down to find where they dock on the Charles River and goes up to the Yeshiva team and says, I'm really glad you were here, but it seems to me you have some work to do. May I suggest that you go spend some time with the Harvard and the Yale teams and sort of see what you can learn? And the rabbi went on his way. Many months later, he happened to run into the head of the Yeshiva University crew team, who was back in Boston visiting friends. The head of the team comes up to the rabbi and says, "Oh my goodness, Rabbi, I'm so glad that I saw you. You were right. We went and we spent time with the Harvard and the Yale teams, and they do have a completely different method." The rabbi said, "Oh, what is that?" And the head of the team said, "They have 6 who row and only 1 who shouts." It's a stereotype, but sometimes I think, I'm not sure, and it reminds me, and not just in congregational living, but in all of our living, when we collaborate, we need people who will put their oars in the water, right? Who will just work together to do the work, to do the heavy lifting. We all have opinions, we all have ways that we would do it when the coxswain gets to yell, but we all don't get to be the coxswain. We all just row together. So I love that story. As challenging as it is, it reminds me that only 1 shouts, the rest of us row. And the women dancing with their timbrels followed Miriam as she sang her song. Sing a song to the one who we've exalted. Miriam and the women danced and danced the whole night long. Miriam was a weaver of unique variety. That tapestry she wove was one which sang all history. With every strand and every thread she she had planned. Miriam raised her voice in song, she sang with praise and might. We've just lived through a miracle, we're going to dance tonight. And the women dancing with their timbrels, following Miriam as she sang her song. Sing a song to the one whom we've exalted. Miriam and the women danced and danced all night long. And the women one more time. And the women dancing with their timbrels, following Miriam as she sang her song. Sing a song to the one whom we've exalted. Miriam and the women danced and danced all night long. That was fun. Yeah. Trying to decide what to do. The next song, please. We're going to skip to the next one. Yeah, let's do this. Yes. If this is my last song, it just won't be no slide through. No slide. I didn't say it. Oh my goodness.
Got it. Excited to listen.
No, I know, it's good. Ready? This is my last song. If this is my final day, if tomorrow I'll be gone, what do I want to say? If this is my last song, if it's my time to go, when my body's moved on, what will I have to show? No, not fortune or fame, they scatter to the wind. The things that make a name just don't matter in the end. Is the world a little more peaceful? Oceans and skies a little more blue? Is humankind a little bit wiser about the good that we can do? Does the sun shine a little bit brighter where before there was only rain? If so, then I'm glad I came. If these are my last words for all of the earth to hear, if all that I have ever been is about to disappear, if these are my last words, there's nothing that I need to say. I have only tried to serve. It's never been about talking anyway. So much hurt there is to heal. It's hard to understand. All I can hope to feel is that I'm doing what I can. I think he's outside. You looking for Daddy? I think he went that way. Is the world a little more peaceful? Oceans and sky a little more blue? Is humankind a little bit wiser about the good that we can do? Does the sun shine a little bit brighter where before there was only rain? If so, then I'm glad I came. Have I given hope to the hopeless? Has a hungry soul been fed? Has a child stood a little bit taller 'cause of some Daniel Namad wrote that, secular songwriter. And I find it, so it's a good reminder about what it is that we are all doing here. When it was time for the children of Israel to leave Egypt, many, many people, as we know, left Egypt and began the process of moving towards freedom. And two individuals who were left as part of these masses, Moshe and Rachel, were walking like everybody else. But the two of them particularly seemed to be very interested in what was happening at their feet. And while everyone was moving forward through the walls of water that were up through the dry ground, they start walking, and Moshe turns to Rachel and says, "Ugh, do you feel this under our feet?" And she says, "Yeah, it's muddy. It's really disgusting, all of this mud." And Moshe says, "Yeah, I thought this was supposed to be better. We have mud back in Egypt, mud here. What's the difference? This is terrible." And on they go, missing the miracle of the walls of water on either side. They were worried about the mud. And then they cross to the other side, and the children of Israel begin their wandering through the desert. And Rachel turns to Moshe and elbows him and says, "There's a lot of sand here and rocks. It's pretty ugly." Moshe says, "Yeah, the rocks and the sand, we had that before back in Egypt. There was sand and rocks there and sand and rocks. What's the big deal?" And they miss the miracle of standing in the desert, of being able to move into freedom. Hi. And they went with the rest of the children of Israel to Mount Sinai, where they were to, as we know, receive the greatest gift, the gift of Torah. And as the people gathered first to prepare themselves and then began to hear the voice, Rachel elbows Moshe and says, "Oh, what is all this shouting? Someone's shouting commands at us. And I know back in Egypt, all we heard all day was someone shouting at us what to do. And here, I thought this was supposed to be so great, but someone's just shouting at us. This is terrible." And they missed the miracle of hearing God's voice, of being a part of what everybody heard in that sacred moment. They just heard more shouts, but they missed the miracle. And some say that Moshe and Rachel are still wandering in the desert. That, whoopsies. Whoops. That they're still wandering in the desert, that they were never able to make it to the promised land, and they just are lost. Others say they went back to Egypt. It's a lot better there. They knew what to expect. And some say they're still wandering among us, always looking down, always noticing that's muddy, it's yucky, it doesn't feel good, nothing has changed. And they miss the miracle and the beauty all around them. So in these days that sometimes seem very hard, let's not be Rachel and Moshe, always looking down, but lift our eyes to see all of the miracles around us. Every second, every minute, every hour, every day, everything, everyone, every place, every way. Where you stand, where you walk, where you love, and where you praise, all of life is holy ground. Every he, every she, every they, every who, it's in them, it's in me, it's in we, it's in you. In the bitter, in the sweet, in the calm, and in the storm, all of life is holy ground. So walk as if it's holy ground. Breathe as if it's all around. Talk and make a holy sound. Take your shoes off, you're on holy ground. When you hurt, when you heal, when you laugh and when you pray, when you doubt, when you keep, when you give it away, every second, every minute, every hour, and every day, take your shoes off, you're on holy ground. One story, one journey, one tapestry we weave. One people, Yes, Craig Taubman. I'm going to do one or two more. Let's turn the world around next. I'm curious. Good. And this one will have text. This is a song by Harry Belafonte. I remembered learning on Sesame Street. On Sesame Street when I was much younger. There's an added verse that we'll come to that was not written by Harry Belafonte. You'll know which one it is. It was added by a Jewish educator not some years ago to the song, but it's also, actually, let me see the first slide. I'm going to see where it is. So the last line, abatiwaha, it's unclear. Some say it's Swahili, some say it's not. There's some debate about it. But it was a word that Harry Belafonte brought to just mean wonderful. It's sort of like sababa in Hebrew, like just yes and great. And it's again this sense of gratitude for all of the ways that we engage, all of the different diversities of our world. And so when we get to it, we'll many times sing abatiwaha. And it's a bit of a tongue twister, but you'll do your best as you get there. We come from the fire, living in the fire, go back to the fire, turn the world around. We come from the fire, living in the fire, go back to the fire, turn the world around. Oh, oh, so is life abatiwaha, so is life. Oh, oh, so is life abatiwaha, so is life. We come from the water, living in the water, go back to the water, turn the world around. We come from the water, living in the water, go back to the water, turn the world around. Oh, oh, so is life abatiwaha, so is life. Oh, oh, so is life abatiwaha, so is life. We come from the mountain, living on the mountain, go back to the mountain, turn the world around. We come from the mountain, living in the mountain, or on the mountain. We can live in it too. Oh, so is life abatiwaha, so is life. Oh, so is life abatiwaha, so is. You get which verse is not Harry Belafonte's? Here we go. We come from the Torah, living in the Torah, go back to the Torah, turn the world around. We come from the Torah, living in the Torah, go back to the Torah, the world around. Oh, oh, so is life abatiwaha, so is life. Oh, oh, so is life abatiwaha, so is life. Do you know who I am? Do I know who you are? See we one another clearly. Do we know? Let's sing this again. Who we are? Do you know who I am? Do I know who you are? See we one another clearly. Do we know who you are? Water makes the river, river wash the mountain, fire makes the sunlight turn the world around. Heart is of the river, body is the mountain, spirit is the sunlight, turn the world around. We are of the spirit, truly of the spirit. Can the spirit turn the world around? We are of the spirit, truly of the spirit. Only can the spirit turn the world around. Oh, so is life abatiwaha, so is life. Oh, so is life abatiwaha, so is life. Phew. Now I'm sweating. Whew. That's a tongue twister. I'm with masks. Oh my goodness, I can't imagine. Y'all must be out of breath. At least I can take big gasping breaths from here. I love to sing that song when I love the energy of it in the sense of we are all of the parts of the earth and the universe before us and after us. And abatiwaha, loosely, so is life. Like it's just all of it. For over 20 years, I've been singing with some friends and partners, some of whom you may know, Dan Nichols, Josh Nelson, Cantor Ellen Dreskin. Years ago, we started singing together just for ourselves. We'd get together, we live all over the country, twice a year to just be together, to be part of each other's lives, to do what you do in community, which is just to lift each other up, to be there for one another. And what we love to do is sing. We all sing individually, but we love to sing together. And over the years, we found that we would write songs together and do sort of group harmony. We recorded an album about 10 years ago, and we tour when we can, the four of us, once or twice a year. And that's sort of, our group is called So Is Life. We recorded Turn the World Around on the album and some other things. And part of the work that we do when we travel and the album that we recorded, all the proceeds go to a foundation called the Jonah Maccabee Foundation. Cantor Ellen Dreskin's son died when he was 19, about 10 years ago. And we knew Jonah well from his years at camp. He had been at Kutz Camp and at Eisner, and all three of us, through Ellen and her family, had known Jonah since he was a baby. So after he died, we decided that all of our work would go to support the foundation, which gives scholarship for kids to go to URJ camps, to attend arts camps, or arts and theater programs. Jonah loved art and theater, and he loved camp. So I have some CDs with me and some download cards, because some people can't play CDs anymore, and some people only can play CDs. So if you want to make a donation, great. If you want to just take one with our just a gift for you, please take and enjoy. It's a very old album. We all look much younger than we do now. We've started to record again, but it's slow going with the pandemic. But if you'd like to take some music home from me and Dan and Josh and Ellen, I can share some at the end. I think Hamalach is next. Let's do it. One of my favorite texts happens to be this week's portion that we just begin right now, Vayechi, that begins today and you'll read on Shabbat. Comes from this week's portion. And I think the next slide probably has the English translation, right? It's this blessing when Jacob, at the end of his life, wants to bless Ephraim and Manasseh, and he offers this blessing. And it's beautiful for many reasons. It reminds me just of what we hope for our children and our children's children. That all we want is that they have a planet to live on, and that they are safe, and that they can build their own future. I mean, that's the best gift we can give to our children. And this melody was said by A.B. Rottenberg, who wrote one of the Lachadodis that we sing. And it's one of my favorite melodies and texts. And so when I was looking at this week's portion, I said, oh good, we can sing Hamalach, because this is the week. This is Vayechi. And the one thing I will do, it's not in the Hebrew, but I'm going to take some liberties with the Torah text. One verse will be about the Avot, the forefathers, because obviously Jacob's doing the blessing, and he evokes Abraham and Isaac. I'm going to add the mothers too, because I imagine they also would want to bless their children equally. But it's not in the text. Hamalach hagoel oti, Hamalach hagoel oti mikora. Yevarech et haneorim v'karev ahem shemi. Hamalach hagoel oti, Hamalach hagoel oti mikora. Yevarech et haneorim v'karev V'shem avotai, v'shem avotai, Avraham v'Yitzchak, v'yitgu larov, b'kerev ha'aretz. V'shem imotai, v'shem imotai, Sarah Rivka Rachel v'Leah, v'yitgu larov, b'kerev ha'aretz. Hamalach hagoel oti, Hamalach Isn't that lovely? A.B. Rottenberg. It's beautiful. And a beautiful text. Imagine if we could bless all of our grandchildren and really offer them this hope. Hopefully we do and have opportunities, should we be lucky enough to have them. Do two more songs. One and Only is there. Let's do it in this key. So skip ahead. I'm going to teach you the chorus. Let's go to the next one. Okay, this is the chorus, so that when we get to it, the whole melody is fairly singable. It's a wonderful Josh Nelson setting. The chorus goes like this. It's going to be too high, I think, for all of us. It goes like this. So open up your heart to all the lost and lonely. Let no one be alone tonight before our one and only. Before our one and only. Let's sing that together. It's a little high. Let's make it a little lower. So open up your heart. Try with me. So open up your heart to all the lost and lonely. Let no one be alone tonight before our one and only. Before our one and only. Good. If we can go back to the first slide, it goes like this. If your God is my God and my God is everything, aren't we all part of one God? So let your God be my God and our God be everything. Oh, we'll all know we're all part of one God. So open up your heart to all the lost and lonely. Let no one be alone tonight before our one and only. Before our one and only. If your love is my love and my love is everything, aren't we all part of one love? So let your love be my love and our love be everything. Oh, we'll all know we're all part of one love. So open up your heart to all the lost and lonely. Let no one be alone tonight before our one and only. Before our one and only. If your heart is my heart and my heart is everything, aren't we all part of one heart? So let your heart be my heart and our heart be everything. Oh, we'll all know we're all part of one heart. So open up your heart to all the lost and lonely. Let no one be alone tonight before our one and only. Before our one and only. Let's sing this again. So open up your heart to all the lost and lonely. Let no one be alone tonight before our one and only. Before our one and only. Josh Nelson, One and Only. I'm going to do one more song that's sort of two songs together as we conclude. I'm glad to be here with you. In addition to the time we've spent on Zoom doing some learning together, whenever it was even that I visited in the summer. Was it last year? It was this summer at some point. Glad to be here. I have had a wonderful few days in Pittsburgh, and that you came to sing with me this afternoon. So we'll just sing this, and then you'll know when it's to go to the next one. It'll be very clear what to do. This is part of a song by Noah Aronson, who wrote the Baruch that we sing, Am I Awake? Among some other melodies. Very popular Jewish singer-songwriter, teacher, just a wonderful giver of great gifts to our Jewish community. And this is his. Yeah, go back. Go back one. Yep, good, perfect. We will get there. Have I been asleep too long? Where have I gone wrong? When I awoke, I found a world in need of peace songs. Have I lost the fight? Have I forgotten my right? When did I become the one of you are wrong and I am right? More love, more peace. I don't know how or when or where, but more please. More hope, more decency. I don't know how we get there, but more please. 'Cause this land is your land, this land is my land. From California, not yet, to the New York Island, we'll get there. This land's confusing, your land is your land, this land is my land. From California to the New York Islands. But that's why I love this melody, because it takes those words and it gives it a little bit of new life, and then we'll sing it together in a way we all remember as being familiar. This land was made for you, and it was made for me. A truth we used to know, but always need reminding. More love in this land, 'cause love's one thing we all understand. The time has come once again to raise our voice and lend a hand. More love, more peace. I don't know how or when or where, but more please. More hope, more decency. I don't know how we get there, but more please. This land is your land, this land is my land. From California to the New York Island, from the Redwood Forest to the Gulf Stream waters. This land was made for you and me. As I was walking that ribbon of highway, I saw above me that endless skyway. I saw below me that golden valley. This land was made for you and me. This land is your land, this land is my land. From California to the New York Island, from the Redwood Forest to the Gulf Stream waters. This land was made for you and me. I roamed and rambled and followed my footsteps through the sparkling sands of her diamond deserts, and all around me a voice was sounding. This land was made for you and me. This land is your land, this land is my land. From California to the New York Island, from the Redwood Forest to the Gulf Stream waters. This land was made for you and me. I'd like us to, as we sing this last verse, and it's a song everybody knows and the melody's very repetitive, but just pay attention as you sing this verse, and then we'll wrap it up. In the squares of the city, in the shadow of a steeple, by the relief office, I've seen my people as they stood there hungry. I stood there asking, is this land made for you and me? This land is your land, this land is my land. From California Thank you very much. Good afternoon. Thank you for being here. My pleasure. Thank you, Rabbi, for having me, for doing all the slides. To all of our friends at home watching, sorry that we couldn't be together, but thank you for joining, and I look forward to seeing you another time. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And the
Thank
sun
you.
set, and it's a beautiful sunset. It's no longer in my eyes. Thank you all so much.